Hey guys, this is Avi from musicalengineering.net. I just got a quick virtual drummer tutorial for you here, and I just want to say that this is a fantastic tool for demoing your songs. Even, if you're not a drummer, if you don't know a drummer, if you can't get someone to if you can't record anything, it's just a fantastic way to get drum ideas down, and it gives you this fantastic little way of really making it sound like you are kind of creating your own track because of just the sheer versatility and variety of the actual drum tracks. So, first thing you want to do in order to open up a virtual drummer track, you want to click on drummer, just like that. And this is just our normal track pop up. You just need to click on drummer, and that's it. So here you see a track pops up, and there's two audio regions, what look like audio regions. Let's really dive into that. Yeah, look at that. They really are, they're creating audio regions for this track. So if we just hit play, let's see what the stock setting has to offer. Wow, that sounds really cool. So let's jump into this and I'll show you what some of these controls are at the bottom here. So basically, Logic gives us this grid with the y-axis being loud versus soft and the x-axis being simple versus complex. Now, where you put this dot here, this dot right there, where you put this dot is going to give the Logic virtual drummer, like a session drummer, an idea of what you want to happen in the song. Now, moving on, the parts here that are highlighted are indicating the aspects of the drum set that are going to be hit mostly with this drum set. So you could hear that there were some crash cymbals at the end here, just like this. That's part of the fill section right here. You can add more fills or less fills depending on the type of song it is. Like maybe you want a little bit more almost of a proggy feel. You could see how as I changed that, the audio itself actually changed directly in relation to the changes that are going on here. So let's listen to that change in fill right there. So already it's a much more moving beat. There's just a lot more fills because we have the most possible. You can see over here we have a swing control. Now this swing will do exactly what it says it will do. It will give a swing to the drum set. Let's see how that plays out. Okay. So next, you have these grayed out parts of the drum set. What you can do to utilize that is if you just click, you see how it changed from hi-hat to toms. So now the main aspect of this drum region is going to be more tom-centric than hi-hat centric. Let's hear how that changed. And you see it changed over here too in this bottom slider. So let's change to the next tom pattern. Let's get rid of that swing. Now you can see where it changes. There's two distinct drum regions here, each with separate controls. Now that's the power of this. In one track, you can control these separate regions as you will. So you are, in a sense, just composing drums based on these very, very simple parameters but Apple put in amazing algorithms to make it sound natural and make it sound like a real drummer based on real drummer sessions. So let's listen back to and play around a little bit, put on this repeat, and I'll just play around. I'll show you exactly how things go. We'll try these different patterns on the toms. So you could still hear that there is hi-hat in there, but the main attraction, so to speak, are the toms. Now let's click on cymbals, and you can hear how this will change. Crash heavy, cool. Got a ride, a lighter crash. Some bell action. Some heavier cymbal action. Awesome. So this down here is basically a kick snare kind of combo, how you want the kick and snare to react. So I'm going to hit play again, and I'm going to go through all of these selections. Yeah, so you can see how the different kick and snare arrangements that you can have. You have this little slider here. This 2x basically means double time, and this back here basically is the slower. So you have faster on this end, slower on this end, more or less. This follow button right here, this basically opens up a little slider. You're going to have a list of tracks. So right now we don't have any other tracks on the... You know what? Let's get a bass line going with this, so I can better demonstrate this. Just super quick software instrument bass, and this is a great little review of how to get these virtual instruments going. So we have our library open. Let's go over to bass. Let's get a picked bass. Awesome. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to use musical typing, however much I may loathe it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's get a little bit of recording in, okay? Okay. I know I got a little bit off there, but that just shows you how cumbersome it is. You know, that's actually not bad. Let's take a listen to that with it again. Cool. See how easy that was? That took about a second. Yeah, I was a little bit early here, so went away. And I can just take this and just move it back a little bit to be where I want it to be. We can go back and hear that now. Awesome. Sounds a lot better now. So let's go back into our drum track, and we can show you now. See how pick bass is now an option? Basically, the virtual drummer is going by the note information, the audio information and MIDI information within this track, and using it as a guide for the kick and the snare. Let's take off follow. there's a pretty clear difference there. You can tell how it's actually following the bass part when you have this checked. Continuing on, we have this little percussion thing here. So we can turn on percussion, and this can go along with the cymbals. So let's bring this back to maybe a ride bell and try this first one, and we'll let this follow it for now. Let's hear how this sounds. That's a pretty rich sound with that. Shakers now. Now let's try the claps. That is so cool. You see how rich a texture we have now only because of Virtual Drummer? I mean, this is such a fantastic way to get even just an idea, and this demo can sound so good all because of just what comes with your DAW. This Virtual Drummer also comes with Garageband, so if you're on Garageband, please utilize it because it's amazing, truly. So now I would really like to talk about this little grid here. I'm not going to go through every little dot or whatever, but I am going to say play around with it. The sheer versatility that you get out of it is absolutely insane. I'll just give you a little bit of an example in these corners so you can see just how different it will sound. See how much the audio changed in the region. So you can just see how incredible a tool this is. The sheer variety of beats that you can create just by yourself without having to pull up a window like this and physically put in and program each sound, or take some Apple loops, which we'll go over in another episode, and use those. That's great. It's fantastic. Really easy way to get it down. But what this does is it gives you not only the feel of writing your own drum beats, but you actually are writing your own drum beats. You're using the tools given to you to create an automated drum beat. It's best to use it as a guide to give to your real drummer, or to use as a demo, because it's the fidelity is just fantastic and you can get so much out of it. Now, we are only on one preset. There are a ton of different presets to use for this. You can even save presets and recall the default. You can change drummers also. You can change them right here, actually. If you click on that portrait, just like that, you have all these different drummers. And the drummers each have different descriptions, different kind of styles, just like any drummer would. So in this case, Logan here, he's plays sparse, hard-hitting rock beats and fills on a retro-sounding kit. So let's hear how that's a little bit different from what we were using from Kyle, from who we were using before. You can hear the difference in the drum set. If you click here, this pops up, and you can see this is the drum kit designer from Logic, and you can actually go into it and change. Say you want something a little bit different about the set itself. I'll go into the drum kit designer in another episode, but this gives you pretty great control over the offered drum sets that come stock with Logic Pro X, and a bunch of these also come stock with Garageband as well. So let's see what Max has to say. Influenced by fast, hyperactive punk rock. That's awesome. So let's hear how he sounds. And you can see up here that I just checked out, there's an entire... There are different drummers for different genres. You know, you can go... Let's go for R&B. Rose. Let's see how Rose plays this. Let's try Aiden now. How they have different drum sounds, different drum sets. You can customize these sets to your pleasing. There are even different presets that go along for each drummer. So if I'm going to go back to Kyle here, he's our stock guy. Let's go to mixtape instead of half pipe. Let's go to new kicks. So these are great in that you can literally change them as you go, change these different presets. You can make your own presets, and what you can also do is create these regions like they're any old audio regions, except they're in fact better, because you can do, say, something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this slider, I'm going to slide it down a little bit for each. So that's just in measure 9 now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Option key, and I'm going to click and drag. So now I have a whole nother region in number 10. And I'm going to bring this to golden state and take this off cycle. So what I want to show you here is how incredible this can be. You can literally program different drum settings by the measure. You can go way in and do it by the half measure, however much you want, in the case that you can. And this gives you the amazing tools that you can just create, literally write your own drum beats in a really awesome way with great fidelity, and it'll just make your demos sound fantastic. Because I've heard and read in a bunch of places, and I'm not sure if I actually believe it, but a lot of people say a demo these days is a professionally recorded song. Like, that demo is just something that hasn't been, quote, released as part of a compilation or an album or an EP or anything yet. So let's see how this sounds with our little changes here. So you see how it changes to the next thing. You can add a lot of difference to your demo just by taking these different regions and giving them separate coordinates. And then you can even change them, give them consistency by having them come back. That is Logic's virtual drummer. We went over the grid here, we went over these sliders, we went over fills and swing, we went over what this follow means versus the double time and kick and snare slider. We went over presets, we went over the different genres of the virtual drummers, we went over the different drummers themselves for each genre. There is so much here to use and utilize. These are incredible, incredible tools. And you can just tell that Apple really took their time with this and really did it right. So awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to comment in the video. Tell me what you think. Do you guys use Virtual Drummer? Have you ever used it before? What do you think? Do you think it's a piece of crap? Let me know. Be sure to go to musicalengineering.net to check out some more awesome resources that will always be free. And thanks to Graham over at The Recording Revolution for the inspiration behind this video. Cheers from Avi at musicalengineering.net.